Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 209. In the last episode, Rika went and hid, but there was somebody else in the lab, the doctor's clinic, in the basement, and we're about to find out more on that now. And the others are just, they found a new character and they're escaping from the rioters or whatever. Let's go! Found it! It should open if I do this. Oh, what we do if there's a terrifying ghost trapped in there? Then you two can have a staring contest to determine which one's the stronger apparition. Rika? Bitch. The strange repetitive sound they heard was coming from the other side of a sturdy door, labelled the emergency storage room. Someone was slamming themselves against a thick metal door. That idea made the most sense, at least. But why the emergency storage room? Maybe someone was using it as a jail cell. Who? When? For whom? Even I, Oyashiro-sama, don't know that. I suppose that's true. The door to the emergency storage room was the type being locked from the outside. Given that something kept hitting it in there was probably no way to unlock it from inside. Once she came back with the master key, the sound stopped for a moment. Maybe they were worn out from hitting it so much. Either that, or they had gone quiet as Rika and Hanyu approached, and were lying in wait for them. Pouncing. I'm opening it. Anytime you're ready. She inserted the key and slowly turned it. There's no way that a level 5 patient was being kept quarantined in here, right? If there was, then the moment she opened it, they could leap out from inside and start attacking her. That won't happen. There's no way Irie and the others would do something so senseless as locking a victim up in a place like this. Even for the 100-year-old witch Rika, it was hard to fight the curiosity of finding out what lay beyond that door. She didn't have any interest in this crazy world, but she could die at any time. So she wanted to see what happened to the world up until the very end. It wasn't some noble desire to watch over its demise, but the slightly wicked curiosity of wanting to see something scary. We all like that. If you're playing this game, you like a bit of horror, right? I went to see The Long Walk the other day. Very good film. She slowly opened the heavy door. Through the slight crack came the foul, hot scent of sweat, mixed with something rotten. The smell made her imagine something more filthy than frightening. There was a light on inside, and a sweaty man who was collapsed on the floor slowly raised his head. It's you! Another outsider. Tomataki! Hey, Rika-chan. You saved me. What were you doing in a place like that? Who knows? At the very least, it wasn't something I chose. Rika, look at the pipes in the back. Your handcuffs. Fastened to the pipes at the back of the storage room were a pair of broken handcuffs. He was almost certainly bound up in them before. Just how long had he been held captive in there, though? Judging from his surroundings, it had to have been more than a day. It couldn't be. Had he been locked up in there since this whole commotion started? He was worn down and exhausted, but it looked like he had just barely held on to his mind. By the way, has anything happened outside over the past few days? Not much. In fact, it's finally quieted down. Rika. The villagers expressed terminal symptoms one after another. Now it spread beyond the village and into Okanamaya as well. That's terrible. What about Takano-san? Speaking of her, I haven't seen her since this commotion started. Could you summon Director Irie here at once? Something terrible is going to happen. Something terrible has already happened and ended. No, something even more terrible is going to happen. Takano-san's planning to spread Hinamizawa syndrome to all of Japan. No, the entire world. Apparently, it had all started several days back. Tomataki had already been locked up in here, back when everything was peaceful, before anything had happened. Oop, here she is. Being the villain. I love it. You awake, Jiro-san? He had been forced to breathe in from an ammonia bottle. Tomataki's body wavered like heavy lead as he slowly looked up at Takano. He tried to move his legs, but felt a cold, heavy sensation against them. Looking down, there were handcuffs on his ankles that were fastened to the pipes. Takano-san, what kind of joke is this? Joke? Heavens no. This is truly a divine revelation. What are you talking about? I've been chosen by God. Yes, this was all a divine revelation. Takano's eyes looked like she was delirious with fever, though she herself was probably calmer than ever. Still, to Tomataki's eyes, she looked like she was drunk on some strong liquor and caught up in a daydream. I wish you would calm down. Could you explain this so I can understand? Yes. Thinking about it, it wouldn't be that hard to explain in a way you can understand. But I must tell you, even if you don't understand what it means at all. So you still want to tell me then? I'm a little honoured. Thank you for saying that. You really are a special person, Jiro-san. And you tie this special person up in a place like this? Special. I want you to stay here until the world is finished transforming into a new one. Are you plotting? No plot this time. It's a divine revelation. I've been chosen by God. Tomataki wasn't a fool. He had a very vague idea of what Takano was plotting from that exchange. Don't tell me. You're trying to cause something terrifying to occur, are you? There might be something terrifying indeed, but it's God's revelation. I have a feeling something wonderful is about to happen too. You're not planning to take the virus we're researching out of here, are you? I'm positive that all of our research has been for the sake of this day. God has chosen me. He understands my noble purpose. Stop it. I don't know who's instigated this. That's not a divine revelation. It's the whisper of a devil. A devil? What a cruel thing to say. Perhaps you can't see their divine glory. Well, of course you can't. You're just an average person. Takano pulled something out of her pocket and tossed it to Tomataki. It was a box with a syringe and a bottle of medicine. He recognized it. It was the new prophylactic for the Hinamazawa syndrome, though that was only supposed to be in development still. If you would like to witness the new world, then inject that into yourself. If you're fortunate, you'll avoid an acute outbreak. Stop this. You can still turn back from this. Talk this out with me, and undo these handcuffs first. Takano slowly lifted the attache case sitting at her feet. It wasn't an ordinary attache case though. It was a special one used to transport N173. If she spread its contents through the air, then a wide range of people would contract Hinamazawa syndrome, eventually reach level 5 and cause a terrifying disaster. For Takano, researching the syndrome was her way of proving her grandfather's great work to be true, so it was a holy act akin to worshipping God. He knew that, yet an outbreak of Hinamazawa syndrome and the terrifying ruin that would bring about should not be her goal. He couldn't even imagine what sort of delusions had come to possess her, but she was prepared to do it, without hesitation. See you later, Jiro-san. If you're lucky, we'll meet again. Since this is an emergency storage room, you should find food and water within your reach. Knowing you, you'll be able to take care of those handcuffs too. Even if I lock this door from the outside, right? As long as he had time, then Tomataki was certain he could break out of the handcuffs. But that would grant Takano plenty of time to carry out her terrifying ambition. Wait, hold on, Takano-san. Wait! Are you planning to destroy the world? Heavens no. I'm going to save humanity, as God has revealed to me, by letting his cute little children here fly free. That's the whisper of the devil. You mustn't listen to it. I hear the devil is elsewhere. Huh? The devil trying to destroy humanity has already appeared. God told me, and he told me I'm the only one who can stop it. What are you about to do really is the work of the devil. Don't let yourself be fooled by him. Don't worry. After all, God's always with me. Farewell, I'm going to Okinamaya. You're there, right? Yes, I know. Poo poo poo. The evil laugh. Isn't that from Yuminiko? Or did they do it in Higurashi as well? How could this be? Oh. As expected, I guess. That woman never learns. So it's her fault again. Again. We're too late? What a disaster. Tomataki was captured right before the incident, and had been shut inside here up until today. It was all too late for him to do anything. Takano had already spread the infection far beyond the village. Maybe she's already spread it to the entire city, or even the entire prefecture. Tomataki shook his head many times as Rika described the present situation. The reality was hard for him to accept, but the gruesome sight of the researchers who murdered each other or took their own lives wouldn't permit him to consider otherwise. Tomataki entered the security room and started fiddling with the radio, but it didn't look like he was going to be able to contact anyone outside. According to the emergency manual, in the event of an outbreak of Hinamazawa syndrome, they are to employ jamming waves throughout the region in order to prevent the spread of chaos. Of course, the phone lines were down too. So there was no way to get the crucial information about Takano's involvement to those outside. Apparently, they've already escalated to hazard level X2. What's that mean? It means the syndrome has spread to Shishibone City. At present, the city is quarantined off from the outside, and all the bridges have been blocked off. Hopefully Tokyo manages to do something with that time. So all we can do is wait? Unfortunately, that's not the case. We can't leave Takano-san on the loose. She had said, "A devil has appeared to destroy humanity. I'm heading to Akunamaya. That's where you are, isn't it?" Ooh. I don't know what she's calling the devil, but we can't afford to let her have her way any more than she already has, right? That's right. Takano-san's most likely still within the city. If the bridges have been blocked off, then Takano can't get out either. If she's planning to take N173 and spread it beyond the city, she can't afford to be captured. She should still be in Akunamaya. Tomataki, I'll help too. It's dangerous. You should hide down here. Right now, Akunamaya is dangerous even for you, Tomataki. It's dangerous to go alone. There are a lot of young people in Akunamaya. They'll be much more dangerous after handing their heart over to the demon. I'm the Queen Carrier. If I'm not mistaken, I should have the power to calm down nearby infected. Now that you mention it, I suppose that's true. Trying to be a gentleman toward me is less important than capturing Takano and preventing the further spread of harm. Still, if anything were to happen to you, the worst possible outcome is already happening. Even if I were to die, things wouldn't get any worse than they are already. Preventing this situation was exactly why they had to prevent disaster from befalling Rika. But their worst fear, a mass outbreak of level 5 symptoms, was already taking place without Rika's death. It made sense to him. Logically, the situation couldn't worsen. Besides, if Takano remained at large, it was likely that things would become even more disastrous. Either she would spread Hinamizawa syndrome throughout Japan, or this thing she called a devil would move to interfere. If they're a devil for Takano, then the enemy of our enemy is our ally. You have a point there. Alright, we don't have time to waste on debates. Don't stop me, Hanyu. I'm doing this to save the world, you know. Oh, looks like you're enjoying this. Let's go to find Takano-san. It's probably just something a bit different for Rika. She's had a bit of tediousness, hasn't she? Tomataki borrowed a car parked at the clinic. In this world not dissimilar from a zombie apocalypse, a car was the same as a moving shelter, so long as no zombies sprang up from the back seat. Or the boot. The car was heading into Akunamaya. Rika and Hanyu were relaxing in the back seat. Is relaxing the right word? I was planning to wait quietly for all this to settle down, back in Hinamizawa, but I've changed my mind. If this is Takano's plot, then I have to interfere. Still, what on earth could this devil of hers be? Who knows? Maybe someone like us. But this means that all of our characters will be in Akunamaya again, right? So it's all going to be centralized. They're all getting together for the big ending, probably, eventually. Hanyu? Yes. Apparently it's someone like us. Huh? Though they had just been inside the car, it felt like their souls were floating up out of their bodies. Next thing they knew, Rika and Hanyu found themselves in a strange, dreamlike world. What was happening? That sensation. Hanyu's expression had grown solemn, like when she spoke of her past thousands of years ago. That was when something akin to mist began to flicker and coalesce into human shape. What? Who? It's someone I hope to never see again. Even the 100-year witch Rika was left bewildered, because she had never heard Hanyu utter those words before. Someone Hanyu never wanted to see again. Human-shaped mist, an inhuman being taking human form. To think we should meet again. Tomura Hime, no Mikoto. I got there, somehow. Another newbie. Leader of the Horned People, Hanyu. I've had no desire to meet with you once more. I could return those exact same words. Why must I see you like this again? You aren't usually so hostile. We are enemies who refuse to accept one another. You must not trust her. I guess you monsters hate your own kind. I will not permit you to call me the same as that demon hiding her horns. Know your place, priestess of the horned people. Rika got a sudden headache from her sharp gaze. Her hardened eyes carried not only supernatural power, but enough rejection and scorn to cause physical pain. Thinking back, Rika had only ever received constant respect. No matter how many hundreds of deaths or years she had lived through, she had never faced down such a hostile gaze before. Rika could only gulp hard in the face of that. Hanyu, do you understand why I have appeared before you? What do you make of this disaster below us? Slowly the mist cleared beneath their feet. Finally Rika understood. They weren't inside mist but inside a cloud. Below them was a sight like one might see from an airplane. Even without straining their eyes they could tell the city of Economia was below. Black smoke rose from various points in the city, and they could see a dark haze hanging over it. When they focused their eyes even more, they could see the people who gave their hearts over to the demons killing each other in the streets. What an awful sight. Shudder with the weight of your own sin. All of this is the work of your kind. No shame, leader of the horned people. From the perspective of humans like Rika, Takano was at fault. But from the perspective of inhuman beings like Hanyu, the disaster below was all Hanyu's fault. After all, N173 was Hanyu. It was the horned people. Hanyu bit her bottom lip, unable to refute her claims. Takano had conducted the research to turn the horned people ferocious. Hanyu wasn't to blame for that. But that being said, these inhuman beings wouldn't allow a human to be blamed for that sin. We shall take responsibility with our own hands. You will not. That's unnecessary now. Know that your tainted horned people will not be allowed to corrupt our lands any further. That's quite the rude statement, coming from someone who's as much of a monster. Silence. Know your place, child of man. You are but the priestess of the tainted horned people. Rika's head throbbed with pain again when... Oh, don't make me say. Tamura Hime, no, Makoto, glanced at her. There was no doubt she was the same as Hanyu, but it was no longer even necessary to explain that the two were beings at total odds with one another. I never wish to speak to you again by any means. I, the leader of the horned people, and my priestess shall take responsibility for ending this tragedy. You will not. Go home, tainted one. I shall take responsibility for resolving the disaster brought upon my people's lands. You should return to your land of Hinamizawa and be ashamed of your immature charges. Now be gone, Hanyu and priestess. Ooh, cracky crack. A violent shock shook her body, and the very next moment she had returned to the back seat of the car. It was all like a daydream. However, it was undoubtedly real for them. That had been the cold reunion between inhuman beings after centuries, or possibly even millennia. Ooh, divine conference. Be party to the strained reunion of two gods. I don't know what it really implied. I mean, what it adds to the story by this point, but okay. Who on earth was that? Tamura Hime no Makoto, the leader of the previous residents who ruled these lands before we ever arrived here. I see. So there's no reason you'd get along then. We were refugees, and it was a miracle that we finally reached this land. It was an incredible blessing to us. Yet we were coldly rejected by Tamura. That was something that had never been recorded, even in the most ancient documents within the ritual storehouse. It was truly the oldest of myths, known only to Hanyu. We wandered space for a long time in search of a place to live peacefully. After a journey so long it could drive one mad, we finally made it to this beautiful blue planet. Just what on earth are you people? I've always wondered that. You're certainly not some abstract being like a god. You're something that Irie and the others could have studied under a microscope, aren't you? The cause of the Hinamizawa syndrome was a virus, but there's no way a virus could be sentient. Yet it seemed to be the true identity of Hanyu's horned people. Rika's guess was correct. Some science fiction stories have posed the idea that humanity is nothing more than a parasite upon Earth. So in that sense, the horned people are no different from humans. Humans are parasites upon the Earth, and they are parasites upon the human brain, which means that to the horned people, the human brain is their land. If humanity continues to destroy the environment, then eventually it will kill the Earth, and eventually living upon it will die along with it. That's why humanity must be kind to Earth and strive to live in harmony with it. The same goes for the Horned People. If they cannot coexist with humanity, they will cease to exist at all. In that analogy, Higurashi syndrome is the destruction of the environment. When the human becomes paranoid and mad, resorting to self-injury, acts of violence or suicide, then the Horned People die with them. Once her reasoning reached that point, we could finally understood a bit of what Tamura had said at the end, calling them immature. Tamura Hime no Makoto was, most likely, the leader of another supernatural parasite upon humanity. Yet aside from the Higurashi syndrome, she had never heard any report of similar symptoms anywhere else in Japan, which meant that Tamura's race of people had obtained a means of coexisting peacefully with humanity. However, Hanyu's Horned People had yet to obtain that same skill. That's why they were declared immature. Still, you can argue otherwise as well. Sure, there was a disaster in Onfuchi village back in ancient times, yet they have spent many decades developing unique practices to control themselves and prevent any symptoms. But then a villain, Takano, came in and interfered, intentionally conducting research to turn them into a deadly virus. This incident in Higurashi wasn't caused by Hanyu or the Horned People. This whole commotion was caused by Takano developing N173, a new race of ferocious Horned People, and spreading them elsewhere. It doesn't look like that stubborn monster is capable of understanding. She never listens to anyone. She's always just cold and inflexible. From her point of view, we're no different from the virus Takano spread, and thus equally guilty. But from our perspective, it's all Takano's fault. She's the one who caused this great disaster. I won't be able to calm down until I punch that woman in the face. I just hope Tamura doesn't get in our way. It would seem the land of Higurashi was the land of the Horned People, while all the other lands belong to Tamura's people. Just what is Tamura's people? Also, if she's also a human parasite, does that mean everyone in Japan is? We're about to come upon the town. I don't know what we'll find here, so be careful. I know. I'll use Oyashiro's power to make sure none of the bad people come to us. It'd be better if we never have to test that power of yours at all. Tomataki, how do you plan to hunt down Takano in a town this large? Right now, Okanamaya is a dangerous town for Takano-san too. Even if she has brought a handgun along, it won't be enough to really protect her. The mountain dogs were annihilated. Right now, Takano is nothing more than a lone woman. She wouldn't be able to last if she was attacked by the murderers wandering around with their terminal symptoms. She's probably taking shelter with a colony of evacuees. Still dizzying to think about hunting her down. If you're able to use your powers to uncover Takano-san, that would be perfect. Can you do it, Hanyu? If I could, I already would be. Oh. Another possibility would be finding a means of contacting people outside of here. If we're able to contact Tokyo, we'll have plenty of options. The reassuring thing about Tomataki was that he could act like normal, completely unfazed, even in emergencies like this. That was probably thanks to the effects of the new prophylactic Takano had administered. I don't know what Takano's thinking. Why did she let Tomataki live? She should have predicted that he'd become her most difficult adversary in this situation. Even after living 1,000 years, there's still the occasional human completely beyond comprehension. She's one of those people. True. The one thing we can be sure of is that we have let her have her way. Or if we do, then disaster will spread to all of Japan. No, all the world. I wonder if that happens, will all the monsters of the world claiming to be gods come to ream you out? That don't sound right. Oh. Takano was talking about wanting to become a god herself. Then it's you and that Tamura Hime no Makoto. I see. The human world doesn't have a say in this matter anymore. Most likely, if Hanyu is to be called a god, then there must be a disturbance in their world. Humans have just been caught up in their messes. The more I think about it, the more I realise we're the only ones who can stop this incident. Aha! These are longer parts, like the last arc was like set up. This feels like they're going for a resolution and they are longer parts. They're explaining things. The whole arc together could have been one, and I would have been fine with that. And have the bus stop as a separate thing. Anyways, that'll do for today. This has been Greeny XI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit when we go back to Mion and the rest of them and see if they can get back to the Sonozaki's house. That's good for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.